How's it going, everybody? Thank you very much for joining me. I'm Orlando Ruiz Jr. Usually on my channel, I like to discuss classic films, but if I see something new at the theaters that I enjoy, I feel like talking about it. So I feel like talking about The Black Phone. Saw it a little while ago, and what a movie. This is the way horror movies should be done. Good acting, child actors that don't make me want to cringe. We got a great performance by Ethan Hawke, and Scott Derrickson proves that he is one of the best horror directors, not just directors of good MCU movies like Doctor Strange, but he's already showed with Sinister that he can make a really good scary movie, and with this film, proves it once again. I really dig the 70s environment, the way they portray these characters. The kids actually look like they're from the 70s. The soundtrack helps out a bit, but they actually got some of the hairstyles and clothing down, and that's always good to see some authenticity. I like that the movie is set in 1978. Gives me a just that vibe of this could have happened. I don't I'm not saying that this happened in the same universe as Halloween or anything, but just makes it feel like it's set around that time where there's boogeymen walking around, people like Michael Myers out there, and this guy they call the Grabber. And the movie does feel very eerie and disturbing at times. As a kid back in the day, kids being abducted wasn't anything that I wasn't aware of. Even as a kid, you heard about things. You see the pictures of kids on, uh, flyers or on the milk cartons back in the day, and those things that you get in the mail with, the notices of kids that are missing. And now that I'm a father, having kids, it's very, very scary to know that there's people like this that are actually out there. So there are elements of this film that feel very real, but the movie does have uh, a supernatural element to it that I thought was going to take me out of the movie, but it worked. It actually really worked. And so the main character is this kid gets abducted by the guy they call the Grabber. And I thought it was a little convenient that, okay, they set it up all right, but the idea of his sister being sort of psychic in a way that she dreams, her dreams pretty much can give her hints of where these victims are being taken or what's happened to them. Um, a convenient plot device, but you just roll with it because it's well done, and the girl that plays the sister is very good. The acting for these kids are, I mean, as far as kid actors go, top notch. Doesn't make you want to cringe. You just watch it, and the acting sort of helps you to sink into this movie because it's so well well acted. And uh, once again, Ethan Hawke is awesome in the movie. He's never not awesome. I love him in everything I've seen him in. Down from back in the day, Dead Poet Society, even all the way back to when he was a child actor, 1985's Explorers, old movie he did back in the day with very young uh, River Phoenix. And but yeah, Ethan Hawke never fails to amaze me. He's great in Training Day, Gattaca, Great Expectations from 1998. So yeah, I always enjoy his acting, and the premise here is simple but very effective because of the way it's executed. We get lots of character development before we get to the abduction of our main character, and the way our antagonist is set up throughout the movie, hinted at here and there, where you see his van, and just what's being implied as they see, as we see, excuse me, certain kids walking down the street, and all of a sudden there's the van, and then it cuts away, and we pretty much can take it from there in our imagination what's going to happen or what goes on. That's one of the great things that this movie does brilliantly, I think, is sort of lets your imagination take you away, and so the unsettling thoughts are there, and huge creep factor to this movie. There is a very intense third act that builds to a very satisfying climax, and the actor who played the father of these two kids was very good too. I think he was Oppum, the coward soldier, the guy that that was very scared to do anything in Saving Private Ryan, but at the end of the film comes through and actually sort of mans up by the end. But yeah, I thought he was very good as the father, and this movie just really impressed the hell out of me. Anytime I go see a movie that actually can get under my skin, because I've watched so many horror movies, I'm desensitized by now. So when I go see a movie that actually works for me and gives me that thrill, gives me that little fright, it surprises me. And so if something is effective enough to do that, it is definitely noteworthy. And I highly recommend people go check this film out if they are fans of horror movies or even thrillers. This movie could be pretty much more of a thriller on the thriller side, but there are, horrific things from time to time. There are a few pretty cool jump scares, not overly done. I thought the music score was effective. I thought the sound design that came along with these jump scares was very well done as far as the sound mixing. Nice and loud in the theater that I was at. And it was just a really good time. Anybody that's into these kind of films, this is definitely a movie to see in a dark theater. Something that definitely was creepy was that damn mask that he wore throughout the movie. And it was really crazy how this mask had different layers to it that he would take off and put on. Sometimes Ethan Hawke would just have the top layer on so you could just see sort of the bottom half of his face. Sometimes he would just have the bottom part off, you just see his eyes. And and every now and then there would be a different mouthpiece. The mouth would be smiling sometimes. Sometimes they would have sort of a neutral look, sometimes sort of an angry look. And that was a pretty interesting choice. And I gotta say, it was something that I'm gonna remember this film for, because it could have very easily gone with a more generic looking mask, like a lot of films tend to do. Could have very easily just uh, painted his face, or I don't know, just anything else would have been uh, a disservice to this movie. What they did with the mask is definitely a standout, because that mask is pretty distinct and unusual for uh, your typical sort of mask. It does have kind of a, I want to say, eyes wide shut kind of a look, I guess, the way the mask has like this devil design. Looks like some kind of pagan ritual kind of mask, but yeah, creepy as hell. This was a very pleasant surprise, and I'm very glad I watched it. I'm going to give it 3.5 stars. Anyone that's into horror movies or going to see something like this in the theater, you do not want to miss this in the theater, because it only enhances the fright experience. It seems that Blumhouse movies are on a roll right now, and they hardly ever disappoint, so I'm really looking forward to the next Blumhouse film. Thank you very much for watching this movie review, and I will be coming at you with more classic movie reviews very shortly. If you're into this kind of thing, please subscribe, hit that bell for notifications for more reviews. Please comment, share, like, and look out for the next one. Thank you very much. Take care, and God bless.